G'day all, this is King Arthur again. Quick video about how to say the Rosary with power. I'm just reading from articles I got on the internet. It says here, the Rosary is a powerful prayer of intercession, but very often it is rendered impotent by the lackluster, often meaningless manner in which it is said. Many people rattle it like parrots, often at the speed of an express train, as if eager to get it done, with like a chore that one doesn't like but has to do. And it goes on to say, if you really want your prayers to be heard and answered, and if you want to exploit the full power of the Rosary, here is how you do it. 1. Say it with meaning. 2. Meditate on each mystery. 3. Do not include additional prayers. 4. Exploit the full power of the intercession of the Rosary. Apparently we have the full court above to intercede for us. Say a scriptural Rosary, and finally, in your devotion to Our Lady, please don't forget God. So I'll leave the link down below and you can check this article out. It's one of the many articles you can pick up on the internet. I thought it was quite good, but I'd like to add a few other things. 1. Always hunger for a man to lead the Rosary. 2. Always rebuke the counterfeit spirits, especially the false Mary worship. 3. Say the Rosary every day with passion. 4. Never say the Rosary with other prayers like the Mercy Prayer. And the Rosary is essentially a righteous tool, and it moves you in a righteous direction. The right relationship, of course, is to have the man at the head. Everything about the way the enemy waters down the Rosary is structured the other way around. It has the woman at the head. And it's quite, most of the people that say the Rosary in the Catholic Church are women. So once you get a man that leads the Rosary, the enemy is basically put out of kilt. It becomes confused. It's the fastest way to say the Rosary with power. All you do is just get a man. Once you get the man into your prayer group and he's leading with the Rosary, obviously you have to be careful not to scare him away, because you're dealing with a pretty scarce resource. So what you can do, you just get together and you pray with the Rosary to bring effective prayer, and you can bring the man into a right relationship. So it's reasonable the type of man you get is going to have a few problems. If he's a Catholic priest, what a wonderful blessing, but you need to pray against the Ahab spirit. You need to bind the Ahab spirit. Most Catholic priests I know have problems in this area, and you just pray against it, bind it up, and pray for a blessing of the abundance of the graces of the Holy Spirit, and away you go. Follow the promptings of the Holy Spirit, bring effective prayer, and even though the kind of man you get may not be much in the beginning, by aggressively going after what's wrong with him, you just basically move him along, and it won't take long really with the aid of the Holy Spirit to fix him up and get him going in the right direction. But it's very important you also pray against the counterfeit spirits, particularly those associated with the worship of Mary. There was a woman at the Holy Farm. She would come every month, year in, year out, and not much happened, until one day she came across Our Lady just walking around. And the first thing she did when she saw Our Lady, she started to go into worship, started to worship her. And she got a pretty stern rebuke from Our Lady saying, "Don't worship me, worship my son." All these counterfeits, it's not just worship of Mary that's a problem with the Rosary. All the mysteries will come with their own counterfeit spirits. So you need to pray against the counterfeit spirits specifically in the mysteries. And it's very important that, of course, you say the Rosary with great passion. Our Lady says to say it with lively faith. I liken it to really going for it. I remember once I got invited to a a very nice convent. There was these beautiful nuns, wonderful music, and it was just such a wonderful day until we came to say the Rosary. In front of all the nuns and a bishop, the head nun got up and started saying the Rosary, and I went into shock. I couldn't believe it. It was like one of those Dark Ages torture chambers where you take someone and you lie them down on a plank and you stretch them out and you hear this. That's what it sounded like, and I couldn't believe anyone could say the Rosary like that. I just could not believe it. But if you have a man saying the Rosary and you're bringing effective prayer, you really don't have to worry about these sort of things. But say it with lively faith. Never say the Rosary with other prayers like the Mercy Prayer. It's common for me to come across people who give greater focus to saying the Rosary with the Mercy Prayer than actually saying the Rosary the way it was intended to be. The Mercy Prayer, of course, is a virtuous prayer. It will cause some damage to the enemy, but it's principally designed to deflect away from the Rosary. And the Catholic Church is full of a whole host of diversionary prayers and this and that. It's a bit of a mess, really. It's always, I prefer to just go direct to Jesus in most situations. And that's basically it. Hunger for the man. When you do get the man, pray for the man. Rebuke the counterfeit spirits. Say the Rosary every day with passion. If you can't say the Rosary every day, it's better off to just say one or two Hail Marys and pray for the grace to say the Rosary, rather than to just have a casual attitude, because it's a righteous tool. You move righteously in small amounts every day, and it's the nature of a loving mother who doesn't want dramatic things to happen. So if you do the right thing, you have small changes, and you're moving in the righteous direction. If you have a casual attitude, what will happen is we get more dramatic changes, and you could get into a lot of trouble. So if you can't say the Rosary every day, just say a few Hail Marys and pray for the grace to say it, because a lot of people are busy and they just can't have the time, and that's what you do until you get the grace to be able to say the Rosary. Don't have a casual attitude towards it. And basically that's how you say the Rosary with power.